One of the biggest reasons people struggle with latte art is actually not the pouring. It's because the microfoam wasn't created properly in the first place. And honestly, for the longest time, I thought microfoam was a super technical barista thing, like something only competition barista really understood. But then one day I was steaming and it just clicked. And when it did, I realized it was way simpler than I would made it in my head. So today I want to share that moment with you, not to teach and not to be fancy, just because once I understood this, steaming mill become way less stressful for me. Okay, the microfoam. Here's how I see it now. Microfoams is simply the bubbles you create during aeration, broken down so small that they melt back into the milk. That's it. No magic, no secret technique. It's just air, added on purpose, and then refined. So let's break that definition down. Part 1. Air added on purpose. This is what we call aeration, or more simply, creating bubbles. Aeration happens when the steam holes touch the surface of the milk. That's when you hear the hissing sound. It might sound like this with a small, gentle hiss. Or like this, with a big, aggressive hiss. And here's something important you might want to remember. The difference between a big hiss and a small hiss is mainly about how many steam holes are exposed at the same time and how strong the steam pressure is. If your picture angle is right, only 1 or 2 steam holes are exposed. You get a soft hiss and small bubbles. But if the angle is off and 3 or 4 holes hit the surface at once, you will hear that loud hiss and you will get big bubbles. That's why I personally like to start with the jug tilted back toward me with the steam tip about 2 centimeters under the surface. Now, if you don't do this and it still works for you, that's totally fine. The reason is the steam pressure. On machines with weaker steam pressure, like most home machines, the milk surface doesn't get pushed down as aggressively. So even if more holes are exposed, there usually isn't enough force to create big, ugly bubbles. That's why home machines feel more forgiving. Yes, you may need to aerate a little bit longer, but you also get more time to break those bubbles down later. On strong commercial machines, especially ones where you can't control the pressure at the start, keeping the steam tip about 2 centimeters under the surface in the beginning really helps prevent big bubbles. You will know you've started well when you turn the steam on and the milk spins for 1 or 2 seconds without any hissing. Then, and only then, we introduce air by gently gliding the pitcher down. And that's why I say air added on purpose. The bubbles don't surprise you. They only appear when you allow them to. And my personal trick here is keep the pitcher tilted toward me, slide the spout slightly into the steam, and gently pull down without changing the angle. If you do it right, you will hear only a small hiss because only 1 or 2 holes are exposed. If you change the angle or move the steam tip around while you're steaming, you will likely expose more holes and create big bubbles. Once you can do this consistently, the length of the hissing will control how much foam you will get. I will make a separate video showing exactly how I adjust this for different drinks, and you can check the link in the comment when it's ready. Part 2, then refine. This part took me over 10 years to really understand that hissings do not create microfoam. The movement after that does. When you create bubbles, they don't magically turn into microfoam by themselves. Microfoam is created when you resubmerge the steam tip just enough for the hissing to stop while the milk is still spinning on the surface. Just a tiny bit. If the tip too deep, the surface stops spinning and the bubbles stay as bubbles all the way to the end. If you accidentally create big bubbles, they simply take longer to break down. And you can actually use this to your advantage. For example, if you accidentally make big bubbles while aiming for a flat white, sink the steam tip a little bit deeper. The milk will still finish with flat white foam because those bubbles will never refine into microfoam. Yes, it will be bubbly on the surface, but those bubbles are easy to remove with a few knocks on the bench. So remember, microfoam isn't about hissing. It's about what you do after the bubbles are created. So yes, that microfoam, my friends, the way I understand it now, not something complicated, not something you are bad at, just air added on purpose and then refine with the right movement. And once this clicked for me, steaming stopped feeling like guessing game and started feeling calm and repeatable. And if you are at the stage where you are practicing latte art, but you still feel stuck with milk texture, or you are not sure why something works one day and not the next, that's actually the exact reason I created my latte art community on School. It's a space where we break things down like this: simple explanations, real practice questions, feedback on your pause, and understanding why things work, not just copying the patterns. No pressure, no competition vibes, just barista helping each other getting better, one cup at a time. And if that sounds like something you would enjoy, I will leave the link in the description and comments. Come hang out, share your pulls, ask questions, and let's make latte art feel simple again. And I see you in the next episode.